So you may or may not know that here at Daisy Haven Farm, we have a track system that we've been building for the horses, and it's coming along really nicely. The hay sheds here, we have a couple of them, have hay chicks hay nets in there with low sugar tested hay. And then we put footing around them so that they can be, less of a mud pit when the horses are around here. And then of course that needs to be picked and cleaned up at times. But then the whole track continues, goes up the hill there for an adventure up the hill and around. But we also have the ponies able to access that. And then here, you've got a loafing area here. And then after the rain we had this past weekend, we ended up with a ton of mud. And of course, the poop got wet and it just settled in, and we were like, this is not desirable. So a bunch of us spent the day today kind of putting in some mud control features. And the design of this is to direct the horses towards the higher ground so that they're not creating tracks full of mud. And I know my shadow's in the way a little bit here. Let's see. So we have hay stations, and then this area down here in particular got really muddy. And so I think the water from the hill we're finding, because this is all, we're seeing how it all works with the horses and the varied weather. I think it all runs down this way, and that's created a lot of mud. So what we're doing is we're directing the horses away from this mud pit where the water's running, and we're creating a waterway that'll come down the hill, go across, and yet they can cross this if they want, right? And then we're gonna put all sorts of little rocks. Fortunately, we have a lot of rocks here on the farm. So we're putting all sorts of little rocks in here, which will make like a waterway. So the water can go through, and if the horses wanna walk on them, that's fine. But then the high ground you can see over there by the fence is not muddy. So if they stay on that side, and then if they wanna walk through here, we're just gonna do damage control. And we do that with things that are here we find naturally around the farm. So what we've been doing is going around and putting rocks and big tree branches and other things. Like this is a low spot here. That's another waterway. So we'll have to get that kind of firmed up, because the horses come through here and they're just chewing it up, unfortunately. And then going up this way, we have some more of the track that has, just some rutting happening where they're walking. So you can see that trail where they're walking, and it's just getting kind of chewed. So, it's a fine line, right? It's like we've got to maintain, because we don't have a lot of acreage and the horses are out here walking, we have to maintain our track. Now, on this side, this is our bridle path. So that side is pretty handy, and it's well protected. But this side can get very chewed up. It's getting deep over there again as well. So we went through and we started putting in more obstacles. And down here, you can see where it's getting kind of mushy up there. And this hill is interesting. And the mud gets a little slippery, so that's another concern. We have a fair bit of mulch on this end, which does help. And you can see here where the horses are making their own track up this hill, and they also go that way. So we're just kind of trying to put in, a decent, kind of like erosion management system, which is an interesting dynamic because, we knew we'd probably right over here. Sorry if it's cutting in and out. I'm walking away from the barn, so we're getting further away from Wi-Fi. So it's probably hopping onto my cellular. And then this has been interesting. So now we're adding rocks here because they've pushed the mulch, the wood chips this direction on this hill. But so now this is gonna stabilize the dirt, and they'll walk around it, and they'll push them into the soil more, and that will really help. And you can see here they have a trail, but this area is not getting muddy because it's higher ground, and it's got a fair bit of mulch and solid base under it. And then this is, so we're still developing that part. And then this part, come up here, and we're starting to add more adventure. So you can see they have their main trail, and then we can redirect them as needed. So for example, this rock pile, you know, sticks out and directs them around this way. Doo-doo-doo. And then we added some sticks here so they kind of step over or go around to the high ground. So my biggest concern in building a track system was the mud, because I didn't want to have to put, you know, footing over the whole thing. Now, some of it's needed footing, and that's just been better. Like this area has been getting a little chewed up. So now we're adding some more obstacles in the low spots so they go to the higher ground when they walk. So, you know, it's always a growth experience. And it's very interesting figuring out how to make all this work. And then this is our riding ring, which also doubles as horse turnout. And so they have all this nice dry footing to stand on. They're up there eating out of a hay bag. A lot of times we won't put the hay bags up there because then they just stand up here, and we want them to go down this way, down the track. So, you know, another layer, another level of management and figuring out how to make all this work. So more soon. Thanks.